Hello and welcome to the Blytheweigh Morning Show. I am Bonnie Hughes, VP Marketing and Sales for Red Cloud Klondike Strike. Our guest today is Chaarat Gold. They just recently put up an update to their resource. They've upgraded it by 46% to 1.45 million ounces, and they've increased the grade to 1.3 grams per ton. Here to tell us all about the resource and the upgrade is Dusty Nicol, Head of Exploration for Chaarat Gold. Hello, Dusty, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So this is great. You upgraded the resource. Please tell us what's happening with the project and how things are going.
Yeah, we're very excited about this. We published a resource early this year and announced plans to explore and announced optimism that with drilling along strike we would be able to add ounces. I was optimistic at the time that we would also be able to improve the grade, and in fact we've had really dramatic results. We're only partway through the exploration program. We've had a significant addition to the number of ounces. More importantly, I think, is the increase in the grade. It changes the project significantly, going from 0.86 grams per ton to 1.35 grams per ton will represent a qualitative change to the project. And I emphasize we're only partway through the exploration season. It's very rare for me to want to put out an interim resource before the year's drilling is done, but we felt that the results we were getting were so significant and so changing to the project that we felt obligated to put them out so that the market would be aware of them. But we're only partway through the season. This resource was based on about 10,000 meters of drilling. As we went to press with it, I still had 1,000 meters of core in the laboratory being assayed, and we've plans to drill another 19 or 20,000 meters before the year is done. So I think this is only the beginning of the growth of the resource this year.
I understand that you have a sort of new geology model that you used. Is that what helped you increase the grade?
Yeah, it was a significant component of it. Much of the grade increase, of course, came simply from adding volume of higher grade mineralization. But in addition to that, when we started looking at the resource early this year, we decided to go back to first principles. We rebuilt the model entirely from scratch. We moved, and this is a very significant change, we moved from a geostatistics-based model to a geology-driven model. It all conforms very nicely now to our picture of structurally controlled high-grade mineralization within a lower-grade envelope of mineralization. The mineralized shapes and the grade continuity within these lodes are very, we have a great deal of confidence in them. They come together very nicely. The proof of the pudding in exploration, of course, is always using this structural trend to predict exploration results. As we drill along these structural corridors, we continue to intersect more higher grade mineralization. So we're very confident that this model now is very reflective of the true geology of the deposit. It reflects the continuous high grade zones. It's very reflective of the geometry of these zones. And in fact, it's guiding us toward additional discoveries along strike.
And what is the possibility that this could be a new gold district?
I've been referring to this since I joined this company as a district. What we have now, our land position controls 24 kilometers of a mineralized trend. It's not only favorable geology, it's exposures of, in many cases, ore grade mineralization and outcrop ore grade soil anomalies. Of these 24 kilometers, we've drilled only 3.5 or 4 kilometers to date. I have no reason to believe that what we have found yet, although it's significant, is necessarily the best part of the district. Typically in this kind of system, along these controlling structures, mineralization pinches and swells. The geologists who taught me much of what I know about this kind of system used to refer to these as randomly sized pearls spaced at random distances along a very predictable string. The string is this 24 kilometers of strike length. We know that we're in one of the, if you'll forgive the metaphor, we're in one of the pearls right now. It will undoubtedly pinch and swell, but I think that by the time we're done exploring this, it will be not just a multi-million ounce Tulkubash deposit on which we're now working, but several more deposits of comparable size and grade within this corridor.
So you've done about 10,000 meters of your 30,000 meter drilling program that you have for 2018, is that correct?
Yes, we have now. Now we're bringing more rigs on site. Now that we've had some success this year, we know what areas merit more infill drilling. We can deploy more rigs effectively. We've had 8 rigs turning. The 9th rig arrived yesterday. We have 3 more rigs arriving within 2 weeks, and by mid-September we'll have 12 rigs turning on site.
That means a lot of assay results coming out over the next few weeks.
Indeed, we will all be busy interpreting them, plugging them into the new model, and we'll be doing an additional resource update. The sequence of events will be, we have now an updated resource with the higher grade. We'll be putting a reserve model on that. That will be done in October. We'll put a new mine plan and financial model on the heels of that reserve update by late October, perhaps early November. And then we'll have, at the end of the year, early in Q1, when we have all the drilling data in, we'll have an updated resource model, and we'll repeat the reserve and financial model recalculations. And we expect to see a significantly enhanced economics to the project as a result of that.
Now, you expect the first gold pour to be sometime in 2020?
Yeah, we're still targeting early 2020. We're beginning construction. We'll be putting out news about that shortly, and we're still expecting the first pour in 2020.
And will you be doing anything on your other project?
Yeah, Kissel, it's always worth mentioning because we get focused on the success we're having at Tulkubash and the rapid growth of Tulkubash, but it's always worth remembering that this sits next to a 5.5 million ounce gold deposit that's still open in both directions and still open down dip. The geologist in me is still keen to further explore Kissel because, again, I believe we've only scratched the very surface of it now, no pun intended. We've only begun to see what Kissel can become. Little doubt in my mind that will continue growing. But Tulkubash we focused on for the short term because it's oxide gold. It can be built with low capital investment. It can produce gold from a heap leach. It will start generating cash for us quickly. Kissel is a bit longer term. We still need to do a bit more work on the metallurgy. We have a feasibility study we've published. We need to do a little bit more work on it. The plan this year is to do some further metallurgical work. We're going to drill some metallurgical samples. I'm bringing in, by the way, a 13th rig to do that because I don't want to distract my exploration rigs for that. We'll get some metallurgical samples, do some work on those during the winter, and we expect by the spring or summer we'll have identified the process flow sheet for Kissel and can use that to continue working on and optimizing the Kissel feasibility study. So what I see happening with this is Tulkubash will go in production. It will continue growing. 2 or 3 years into the Tulkubash production, Kissel will have a feasibility done and be ready to come online then when it makes sense commercially for the company to slot it into production. That will come in in parallel with Tulkubash. And at that point, from this district alone, we'll be producing 500,000 ounces or so per year of gold.
Well, that's a very good production. That puts you in the sort of mid-sized production category.
It does, and given the company's aggressive M&A ambitions being implemented by our new CEO, Artem Volynyets, it's only the beginning for us. I expect myself and my crew to be very busy doing exploration, not only at Tulkubash, Kissel, but in a number of gold properties. It's a very exciting future for us.
It sounds very exciting, and we look forward to getting those assay results and watching the progress of the company. Thank you very much for joining us, Dusty, and thank you for joining us on the Blytheweigh Mining Show. You have a very profitable day.